We are back for the penultimate episode of Melbourne Survivor, Playing with Fire, episode 10, All or Nothing. We are in the rundown. How do we feel?
I'm in the wrong spot again.
That's how Jules feels.
That's how I feel.
Like...
Thank you.
There we go.
No, I'm excited to see. I'm like, next week can't come soon enough. I'm so excited to see how it all plays out. You guys are stuck in Sydney. I'm going to be at the watch party for the finale. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I will not be watching live. I'll only be a couple hours behind, but I play netball at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I will not be watching live, but I will watch it straight after the fact. So I will see it same day, so I'm not too far behind and no one spoils the fuck out of it for me.
Mute all of your notifications.
Yeah, I am muting all of you bitches. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to... Oh, I want to play Drunk Fiver, Brady. That's not...
When is Drunk Fiver? When are we doing that?
The following weekend.
Is that immediately after the watch party? Either way, I'm there.
Anyway.
I won't be driving this time.
I'm probably going to be drunk on the Saturday, so notifications may or may not be turned off depending on how drunk I am. And hopefully I'll be watching live, but I'll be celebrating with you guys just in spirit.
You guys know I'm going to win Drunk Fiver, right? Like that's
free
gaming already.
Jealous, and we will smoke the shit out of you when we are in Melbourne next.
True. Let's go. Come on, Dani.
Right.
Let's go.
No, let's go. But we are here. We're not at next week just yet. We are at the penultimate episode 10. How did you think? What did you think? Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with dynamics. We get introduced to potentially a girls' final 3, which I don't think we had seen or heard of.
We've heard whispers for a long time, but this is the kind of first time it almost seems firmed up.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was just something the boys were a bit nervous about. But
as boys always are when females get together.
Exactly. You're intimidated.
Yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be really scared. And that's why Dale and John are so certain that if it goes to rocks, they're going to rocks. This is it. So
we will get to the rocks conversation because we all have thoughts about rocks, but we're not there yet. Let's and that montage is hilarious, but so we jump straight back in after tribal. I see Caitlin feeling good. She's slayed so many tribal blokes. She's been to all of them, all 10 tribal councils.
Her name has come up a few times, but she's never been the one. Skating
through. She's feeling good. She was very unsure about what Brady and Chloe were thinking. And then she's convinced that Chloe really wants her out.
Yeah.
Well, Chloe voted for her, so it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet. Yeah, we see Chloe being upset that the 5 she thought she had is not a 5, which at this point in the game, find that out sucks. Did you down a shot every time Caitlin said rocks?
You would have died.
Yeah.
I'd be so hammered right now, John, if we I listened to the rewatch before coming on here, 1.5.
That would have been alcohol poisoning.
To make sure I didn't miss anything. So can you imagine me doing that at 1.5 speed in the last 20 minutes?
Oh my god.
You just got the bottle.
It would have been easier to get the bottle and just chug it. Just hold it there. That is not responsible service of alcohol.
No, but then we see this really interesting conversation play out where Chloe was talking about a plan where Kate was going to give up her necklace.
I was confused there.
And I don't remember this conversation from last week at all. We would have delved into what that would have looked like. We already knew that Kate...
Who was she talking about? Kate giving it to Laurel?
Laurel, I think.
Yes. So I'm very confused by this because we didn't see any of it in the previous episode. And I was like, I didn't realize there was a plan for that to potentially happen. And that's a lot to ask of somebody at this point in time, especially when they're 2 immunity wins in. The fuck am I giving this up for? You're just going to vote for me if I give this up. That's ridiculous.
100%. How many times have we seen someone give up their necklace and have it work out? Not many.
Ever?
In Amazon, Jenna gave it up for Heidi.
All right, okay.
Before they voted out Christy.
Yeah, right, okay.
My little nerdy brain remembers
Heidi in the end. That was a terrible tribal council for her. She was on the jury, but she looked stupid.
Look, if you have the necklace and you give it away, it's a massive risk. I mean, you've gone to all the effort to win the challenge. You've got another target on your back because not only have you won individual immunity, which is great, but now you're also going to be considered as a challenge threat, and then you've just gone and given it away. So for Kate, she's got to keep it, and she's got to keep winning. I think it's the only way Kate gets to final 3 is if she wins the next.
Correct.
Couple of.
I mean, we'll get to the conversations about her after immunity, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then we, Chloe goes on a rampage. Fuck you all. Screw them. She's fucking just done. Had enough of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Her main man is gone, and she doesn't give a fuck anymore at all.
Her not bromance. Her showmance is gone.
Showmance is gone. Her ride or die is gone. She's like, I don't trust any of these bitches.
The survivor crush and her survivor husband, they're all gone.
Yeah, all gone. And at this point, she feels like she is completely on the outs.
Yeah, and we see that a little later, or we see sort of how anxious Chloe is about receiving votes, and and how out of the loop she was of that last vote. I mean, she had no idea. Yeah, I'm sure Chloe had suspicions that Brady was going. I mean, Chloe said, I had a plan, it didn't work out, but everyone else voted Brady. So
this point, Chloe, they were the last duo standing. It was hard to not take a swing at that point in time.
They had to be separated, I think.
Correct. And then we see that Caitlin trusts Kate. At this point, she would like a final 3 women. Like at the beginning of the episode, she's like, yeah, let's go that final 3. That sounds great to me. She changed her tune later in the episode, but from...
Wait, Caitlin or Kate?
Caitlin.
Sorry, I'm getting confused by Caitlin and Kate.
Caitlin. Laurel doesn't trust Chloe because she hasn't really given up any information. And then we kind of see it almost being a boy versus girl thing with Laurel being a swing. Yeah. Which is a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it seems that, like we said, John and Dale are concerned about an all-women's alliance, so they're trying to bring Laurel in. Yeah. I think Dale and John have every right to be nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
I think their read is good that those 3 girls might want to work together. I think everybody at this point is starting to see Chloe as someone they want to sit with at the end. Rightly or wrongly, that's how they're perceiving
her at this point in time, which is an interesting take. Here we go. Chloe told us that Kate and Caitlin were promising her final 3.
And then it sounds like Kate has been openly saying she wants it to be an all-girl final 3.
I wrote down that final 3. That's a hot final 3. I like it.
I would love that.
So yeah, that's an interesting, but it's also like the dynamic that I find interesting here is that we see John talk all the time about how Caitlin is his number one, his ride or die, that's his person, that's who he's with. But we saw so much of the love for each other they had at the start of the game and being so together and having to be because of the situation they were in after the swap. But it kind of Caitlin's kind of just about John, whereas John's like, I'm in. And it's just very weird.
We've seen John make all these moves to take out people he felt was too close to Caitlin. Yeah. It's his reasoning for wanting to take out Tash. Yeah. It was, I think that's one of the reasons he wanted to take out Laurel here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
So for me, the final 6 is really interesting because, as Liz says later, it's a final 3. However, at this point in my head, I'm going, who are the threats and who are the non-threats? And I think I have Laurel, Kate, and Caitlin as being the 3 biggest targets left. And then Chloe, John, and Dale, who are more so playing their own game. However, it's more in the background. So I feel like if Laurel and Caitlin wanted to get to final 3, they would maybe need to look at working together with Kate and trying to convince Kate, is your only way you're getting to final 3 is if all of us go against each other at the end and just see best person wins.
Yeah. It'd also be a hot final 3.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to happen, but it would have been.
Would have been crazy.
Yeah.
And then you get to see sort of like, okay, if Laurel now goes, and then you have probably Kate and then Caitlin, you've got a final 3 between Dale, John, and Chloe, where I think is most the jury yellow.
Yes, we see them talk about that in a bit, like after the challenge, talking about a yellow jury.
So I feel like with those 3, Dale isn't getting any votes, and then it's up to who can pitch better, John or Chloe, and I think John has a better pitch at the end, if that's how it works out.
Let's play that out. Right, so who's on the jury?
You're getting a pen and paper out to work it out. So we've got Max.
See?
So in order, Max, CK, Tash, Brady, now Laurel, and in Ethan's scenario, he's putting on
Kate,
Caitlin, and that's it.
Okay. So, I mean, Brady votes for Chloe.
Brady votes for Chloe.
Brady, yeah, 100%.
I think Max votes for Chloe.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
I think a lot of it will come down to the pitch at the end.
Yes.
I think Chloe has a lot of secrets that she can, like, not so much secrets, but a lot of things that she can talk to that no one knows about. John can talk.
We are very aware that John can talk. We know this.
We know this. John would be very convincing in a final 3.
We are putting extra time into the next few weeks in anticipation of speaking with John.
Yeah, but I think that Chloe will surprise a lot of people with what she's done in the game. I think a lot of people might have seen her as just sort of riding along with Brady and riding his coattails, but I think she can, and Brady will probably attest to this, that it was much more of a actual duo, and Chloe was doing a lot of the footwork socially. So,
good point.
Yeah, because Brady was not that social. He was a little bit more reserved in terms of his social game. Who's CK vote for? I don't think he votes for John. It's like last we heard from CK, John's a goat.
CK will base it on Final Tribal. I
think he votes for Chloe.
Okay, I'm going to say I think he votes for John.
I think Tash votes for John.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Tash votes John.
We've got Laurel.
I could see her voting anyway. She'd probably vote for Dale.
Kate, I think, votes John.
Chloe.
You think Chloe?
I think Kate wants a woman to win.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Caitlin
I can see that.
Caitlin votes for John.
John, yeah.
Yeah.
So that it comes down to who Laurel votes for this point in time.
Really?
No, Chloe wins.
Chloe's
got 4.
There you go.
Okay.
Chloe wins in this scenario.
I think
I love it.
When I look at Chloe's game and when I look at John's game, I think John's going to win over people like CK, especially when you say, I went to every single tribal council in the game. I voted correctly 90% of the time.
Yes.
I wasn't in the majority he wasn't the majority, especially when Laurel flipped. But I see Chloe playing a really close game with Brady, and their games.
Sorry, Dale.
Awkwardly sitting here listening. Yeah.
Sorry, Dale. I look. We love you as a person. We're judging this off what we can see. Yeah.
Look, we're not saying anything bad about you. We're just saying good things about other people.
No.
Anyway, let's
not quiet game surrounded by big personalities.
Correct. Very correct. Okay. So, and then we had this is very weird conversation. Was it Caitlin and I were like trashing Chloe and talking about giving her a bone? She didn't take it.
Right.
At least give it back.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the trash. I was very confused.
There was a few scenes in this episode that were really hard to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, find tribal council in particular.
Yeah.
But I was like, Is Chloe a dog? Is she trash? Is she like, where are we?
Sorry, the fucking Dale hashtag is now poor Dale.
Poor fucking Dale.
We love it. Dale, we are all really hoping you pull a Christy Bennett and just
talk that shit at Travel Council. Let's go.
We want to hear it, Dale.
I'm sorry, is that a subtle Sydney reference?
Of course.
I mean, come on. I'm only here for myself, and then Melbourne's like this other thing that I'm sort of doing.
All right.
Come on, Dani knows
keep that in mind when I talk about you tomorrow night.
Okay, fair. That was super
you can't press not to talk about him in this episode. Let's be fit. Like that episode is
no.
Anyway,
where are we?
Throwing a bone to Chloe, I think Laurel and Caitlin were talking about.
Yeah, so they're talking about Chloe at this point in time.
I think it was Chloe. I have Chloe with a question mark next to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure.
Those two together, Caitlin and Laurel, are vicious little bitches.
Mean girls.
That's so mean.
They're so funny.
They are. They're both Regina George.
I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's so funny to watch, like, those two interact with each other. And
they are like the craziest frenemies.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, fuck, I'm not working with this. I'm not working with that person. This is not, no. But like together, they're like these heightened frenemies. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, then we see then we get Caitlin does not want to go to final 3 with Laurel.
Yeah.
Which smart.
Yeah.
And then we see her backtracking on her talking about a girls' alliance because she's not sure about Kate either. Right. And then she would be fine going with Chloe or Dale because she thinks she can beat them.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have a relationship with them. So
yeah. Her game is completely different from theirs.
Correct. Yeah, and I think she wins hands down in that situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest thing here is that she has made it through every single tribal council.
Which is why I think John gets to the end. I think John wins.
I think, Chloe. With Caitlin and John, they take votes from each other because they have played together the whole time. Mm-hmm. But I think if one of them is there without the other, I think that's possibly who our winner is.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, I don't know shit about calling a winner, so don't listen.
And then I love this sentence. To target John or Kate is to welcome them targeting me.
Who says that?
She's just like the last. Her. When I keep saying this week after week, Kate and Caitlin's read is phenomenal.
100%.
Like for I mean, Caitlin's my winner pick, always has been, but I didn't.
All right, stop flexing.
Wait, really? Did you pick Caitlin to win? Really?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh my God, Dani.
But I didn't have Kate high up in my But
no. You and I didn't.
No.
Ethan did.
Come on, Kate. Go, Kate.
She's the last one standing for you.
Win those challenges.
No, he's still got Dale as well.
Okay.
I got Dale. Too. Come on, Dale.
So Ethan, I think, is going to come over the top and win our predictions because he's still got 2 left.
Come on.
Yeah, okay.
I have nobody left, so
they just impress me. Like they've been so impressive with their reads, their social game, the chaos that Caitlin brings to her confessionals. She doesn't seem that way with everybody. She's chaotic with Laurel, but she's like, like a little cheeky with John. Like she's very much like who she needs to be with each person. But in confessional, she's like sassy as fuck. So
yeah, and this goes back to earlier in the game at the swap. She approached Laurel in the perfect way to approach Laurel.
Yes.
If she was approaching Ma, Annabelle, Rosie for a vote, it would have been a very different approach. But to Laurel, she was like, right, I want to have fun. Let's cause some chaos and make this really fun. And that was the correct approach. And that's how she got Laurel to flip.
100%.
Whereas if she was trying to approach Ma or someone else, it would have had to have been more from an analytical, strategic point of view.
You could have got Annabelle that way, but...
Yeah.
But
Annabelle, I think, is very strategic player.
Very much so. But she could play into the chaotic side of the chaotic evil side. And then we just, and then Dale like pitching his reliability. I'm stuck with the plan. I'm always with the plan. I'm the man who sticks to the plan. I'm reliable.
That's
reliable. Yeah, reliable's great to get to the end. That's.
I mean, if you're not making waves, no one's looking at you. You're just doing what you're told, and you're happy to be there.
And that's a person that you want to work with. Like if you could predict how they're going to play, that's someone you want to work with moving forward. Laurel is the opposite of that. You don't know what she's going to do.
Unknown entity completely. Whereas Dale, you're like, no, he's a solid number.
Yeah.
Because this point, he hasn't done anything to rock the boat.
Yeah.
No.
Dale needs to do something to rock the boat, like capsize the boat, like something.
Kick everyone out of it.
And we haven't seen idols in a while as well. We haven't seen or heard about idols.
I spoke about this last week. We talked about, I don't
think anyone has an idol.
No one has an idol.
If there was another one in the game, I don't think it's been found.
No, and it'd have to be used next.
It's
one more opportunity to use it.
It'd be interesting to see if there was another one at the next challenge. And
for sure.
Gets it. Yeah.
Okay. And Kate wins immunity 3rd time in a row. Blast it.
My notes for this challenge says balance beam quotes. Kate wins again.
Yeah, I think that's about.
And look, I liked the challenge. I did. My rewatch was on 1.5, and I skipped the challenge because I was running out of time.
Yeah. So again, that balance beams, people had to wait their turns. That throws things.
I like the sticks on the thing. It was fun. Yeah. And then, it was a good challenge. But I'm someone who doesn't really care about challenges.
Yeah, and then Laurel's dirty. Because she is just like, she was that close. She was right behind Kate.
Chloe looked like she was right in it too, though.
Yes, absolutely.
It was really close to the end.
Didn't she?
Yeah,
sorry?
Chloe did get there
first. Chloe got to the points first, and then Kate overtook. But then the rail's dirty because she's convinced that she a couple more minutes she would have had it if she only gotten across the balance beam quicker. It would have been hers, which would have made for a very interesting vote. And then again, we get this confessional from Kate where she forgets that winning immunity makes her more of a threat because she's so focused on the challenge. And I was like, I get it.
That's you. 100%.
I get
she
you.
Knows, before the challenge, after the challenge, she knows that winning immunity makes her a threat. During the challenge, she is focused on the task at hand.
Yeah.
She wants to win.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I completely forget anything I'm doing is going to make my status in the game change at all.
Yeah.
Whether it's yelling at people, whether it's being as forceful as I need to be, I just forget because I just want to win.
Whether it's almost killing Christy Bennett.
Yeah,
look, she did that to herself. I don't want. Look, just quickly, I was standing back there chatting shit the whole time. She was choking on a fucking muesli bar. I had to eat some, I looked it up the other day. What the hell? This abalone shit.
Abalone is a delicacy.
It was
delicious.
Don't have it with water. Delicious.
It is. Anyway, that's for tomorrow night. Anyway, during the challenge, she's like, I'm going to win. And I don't think she would even care. Thank you, John. Abalone is delicious.
That's disgusting.
I don't think she cares about immunity.
People.
She doesn't care about anything. In her mind, it's a contest. It's a competition.
Yes.
There's a task. She's going to win.
And I understand that wholeheartedly. I was just like, yes, I completely understand.
I understand it too. I just don't have the skill to back it up. So it's just, I try my best. But you don't want to play any sort of competitive board game with me because I'll do whatever it takes to sabotage you. So.
Damn. Okay.
Game night.
That's why my friends and I play co-op games now.
We get a really cool confessional from Laurel talking about Kate and the fact that besides the fact that she's a challenge beast, her social game is incredible because she makes
Who dislikes her?
Pardon?
Who dislikes her?
No one.
Exactly.
And if it wasn't for the fact that she was a challenge beast.
Sorry, Dale wants me to quote Dance Moms. First place is the second place is the first loser.
Second place is the first loser.
Now, do we think that if she wasn't such a physical threat to keep winning immunities, would she be as much of a target?
Yes.
Would you see her as much of a threat as she is?
I think it goes back to what we're seeing in her. She has really good reads on everything, but nobody can read her. And she could be considered a bit of a wild card, and that might be someone that people want to get out. Like I said, everybody really likes her. Her social game is really good. And she has made it quite clear that she wants a woman to win, even if it's not her. So a lot of the guys, I think, would have been targeting her earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I think she would have been, even before, I don't know if anyone was saying her name before her first immunity win, but I think, she definitely would be on people's radars. I don't think anyone would consider her a GOAT.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't consider her as big of a threat if she hadn't won any immunity challenges. I feel like at that point her social game is really good, and I think other people focus elsewhere and sort of just try and whether they use Kate to try and get her to come onto their side or whether they agree with what she's saying, whatever it is. I think if Kate hasn't won any immunities, I think her social gameplay is so good that she's not going to be looked at until potentially Final Four. At that point, then it's like, okay, now who do we think is the biggest threat to win? And then people start looking at her just because you've got Laurel and Caitlin. Like with Kate's 2 immunity wins, she goes up to a Laurel and Caitlin threat level.
Yes.
Without them, I think she slides under the radar a bit more and potentially makes top 4 a lot easier than potentially what she's doing now.
I'll go back in a sec. Keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. I was sort of thinking about her game overall. I wasn't really comparing her to other people. And I think I'll recant what I just said and say that, people probably wouldn't be looking at her. But at this stage, who is even ever going to beat her in a challenge? Like, they seem to take out everyone else that's a challenge threat.
Right.
Like, Brady was the only other person that had won a challenge. Max was obviously a challenge threat. Laurel was second in this challenge, and so she's gone.
Right.
Like,
that's
we've
a good
seen
point.
that Dale has been really struggling in these challenges. Like, I thought he was going to be a challenge beast, and he has not.
After the first episode, I knew.
So he's not really a challenge threat. Chloe has been surprising herself in the challenges. I think if she had a bit more self-belief, she might be doing well in challenges. Caitlin, we saw her do well in one particular challenge, but other than that, not really. So I just think I could see Kate winning her way to the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a really good point. I didn't think about it like that. Kate could definitely win the next 2 challenges, and it's due to the fact that the people left in the game don't really have that much challenge ability with the ones that we've seen. Obviously, challenges come in all different shapes and sizes, and whether it's a puzzle or it's more physical, or if it's holding a bucket full of water or something above your head. So it'll really depend on the challenge, but
I think a lot of the challenges tend to favor the sort of strength to weight ratio, and that's something that Kate definitely has going for her. She's very strong, and there's not much of it.
100%. Yeah. Well, we talk about Dale said he couldn't even hold the fucking stick things. It's like we get a confessional conversation where he's like, "I'm getting progressively worse."
Yeah. Poor Dale. Yeah.
I feel you, Dale.
And that's the thing, you're a pro athlete. The one thing I think I said you had going for you at the start of the game was the fact that you could be a physical asset.
Like I said in my cast assessment, I was like, Dale's going to be our challenge beast. Ex-pro tennis player. He's going to be fit. He's going to be good at everything. He's going to have balance. He's going to have agility. No.
Yep.
I was wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, Dale. Look. Who knows? You know what? Dale could win the next challenge. Maybe the next
Brady
2.
says hunger throws out challenge performance a lot. That's a really good point. How tall are you, Dale? He's a big guy, so he's probably eating the same amount of food as everyone else. He's probably hungrier.
Yeah.
Something else.
Just quickly, with Dale saying I'm progressively getting worse at challenges, even though it's pretty true, to me, that's also good strategy, because then you look at Dale and you do think ex-tennis player, he's going to be a challenge threat.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to keep
say.
him around to beat Kate, but at the same time, if you aren't doing well at the challenges and then you say, look, I'm not good at these challenges, that just, you're not giving someone a reason to want to vote you out. So, yeah, look, Matt, we brought that up. We're doubtful, Dale, but we believe. I'm here. Like, I want to see it happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about it. I wouldn't be mad about it if he did it.
I said a few weeks ago that at this point, I think I will be very happy with whoever this winner is. I think, it's a great season. Yeah. I am already so happy. So, whichever one of these 5 wins, I'll be happy.
Yep, 100%.
All right. We see Laurel and John discussing Caitlin as an option to be the vote. So Caitlin kind of seems the first name that's thrown out, and then with Chloe going next after her.
I love this dynamic of like Caitlin's 2 closest allies this whole game are the ones throwing her name out.
Plotting her demise. Super interesting.
Good gameplay.
Yeah. And then we see Kate talking about how she can see that Chloe feels like she's on the outs, but she wants her. She wants to keep her. She wants to make her feel safe because she is. So in Kate's mind, Chloe is not going anywhere.
So Kate wants to take her to the end.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like we see that swing from Chloe potentially being the next vote to Kate being like, no. She's mine. I'm going to keep her with me.
Yeah.
And then John's confession where he's nervous about the girls.
Yeah, he knows he's not in their plans.
Yeah. So you can see he's the fourth.
Yeah.
Of the 3 in this scenario. And then we see the conversation about Kate talking about how it is a predominantly yellow jury.
Yes.
Right.
So like looking at it, and if Laurel was left standing, that's the person who's going to get those votes.
100%.
Right. And
Laurel, I don't think it matters that it's a yellow.
No, but it's like it. No, I think Laurel.
It's just another nail in her coffin.
Correct. It's a great starting talk point because we haven't looked at Laurel for a couple of tribal councils, right? We've been focusing on all other threats that there is, and to get the ball rolling about, it's like, well, look at that jury.
Right.
It's a yellow jury. Who is left? Who here left is yellow, like OG yellow.
Chloe.
Laurel and Chloe.
Yeah. And for everyone's conversation so far, Chloe is not a threat.
Yeah. Right. And what happened?
Silly players.
And Laurel butchered her own tribe, so her own original yellow.
Yeah, but it was a game. Like the gameplay was great.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
So that's fun for thought, and then the rocks madness begins.
I love this so much.
No rocks.
I love rocks. Let's go to rocks.
But like, okay, Lashima says, how stupid is that? Like to Kamrasha's like every 1 in 3 going home.
But she had votes coming towards her, so it actually would have been a smart idea for her.
But really
we see John break that down a little bit later.
I'm confused by the votes. Okay, so we got a message from John explaining a few things, but it looked like if it was going to go to rocks, it was going to be Kate, Caitlin, and Chloe on one side, John, Dale, Laurel on the other. But then Caitlin voted for Chloe, so I don't know how this happened. That part I'm really confused about. Can either of you explain it?
No.
Okay. Did Caitlin just throw her vote rogue?
Can we let's
sorry.
The tribal council. Sorry. We're jumping ahead. Good points. We'll get into it, but we're not.
Hold those questions. Those good questions.
Great question. And just
John answered it. Thank you.
Caitlin wanted Laurel.
We will get to it.
So Caitlin's out on her own at this point.
Oh, okay. 3-3. Oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
All right. So just the amount of times if we had done shots every time that Caitlin said rocks in this fucking scenario, even other people said
we
rocks,
would be dead.
That's ridiculous. Look. I've spoken about it for Jules and I are not particularly for rocks. Ethan is all for rocks. Which tells you the kind of game players that we are.
Look,
like I've said this whole time, I love chaotic gameplay. I just think Rocks takes the decision out of your hands, and
Correct.
you should always be making the decision.
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm all for chaotic gameplay, but I'm not going to put my life in somebody else's hands.
Look, it does depend how many people there are going to Rocks. If it's at final 6, look, probably not, unless you think that this is going to potentially get you to the end.
Well, we see that from John. He's like, I think I have to go to Rocks because I don't think anyone's going to respect my gameplay otherwise.
And he feels like if his side loses, then the girls go to final 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, Jules, I know you're like, you don't think that's the case. I can tell by your face.
I was waiting for my turn.
At this point in time, he's heard from CK that he's a goat. His gameplay hasn't been flashy in your face. Like we and we've talked about last week. Like we see his game, we see it good from professionals, but for the bigger, flashier players, they don't see that. And without having this move, right, like a in-your-face move, like I participated in making this happen, rather than a passive behind-the-scenes sort of a move that he's done to this point, that we've seen to this point. He sees, I think I need to do this to be a little flashy, to consolidate my game.
I do see where he's coming from in that respect. If I was on the jury, and to me, going to Rocks it's not a smart move because it's leaving it all up to chance.
Yeah.
Whereas if you got to the end and you said, this vote was going to go to Rocks, I couldn't risk it because I knew votes weren't coming to me. I knew I wasn't willing to take a 1 in 3 chance. So I made something else happen, whether it was I flipped or I turned the target onto someone else completely differently. I took control of that vote. I owned my game and made a decision.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if it's you see in situations where, it's at the merge and it's 2 tribes completely against each other and one person flips to the bottom of that other alliance. Yeah. That's I don't like it there. But in this situation where it's a very fluid game, we're in the final 6, I think make something else happen.
Yeah.
So I would really respect that if I was on the jury. That's me. That's how I see things as a juror. This jury might be respecting something different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But we just see John have that thought here.
Yeah.
And so at this point, John wants to keep Laurel.
As a shield, which I think that's, definitely. Laurel's a big shield.
Yeah. 100%. But, one more time and you're done.
You're not voting off John over Laurel. Like, that's just stupid.
No, you're not. All right. Okay, then we're at the tribal council. There's no fun.
Can we talk about Liz's coffee? Like, Liz is there holding a coffee at tribal.
So is Brady.
Yeah, but you're on the jury.
And I'm not that happy about that either. But Brady has just been voted off. It's not a good look. And then when she came back with the votes, the coffee's in the urn and she's holding the votes. Like, Liz, put your coffee aside while you film the tribal. Have a little sip while they're voting when your camera's not on you. It's not a good look.
You know what I loved? I loved the most about the start of tribal when I think Liz asked Chloe a question, the very first question, and was like, how are you feeling or whatever? And Chloe responds, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. And then Liz nods her head, takes a sip, and is like, yeah, same. I feel that. I'm like,
Liz, have you been participating in challenges? Have you been to vote people out? No.
She's like,
mood. Hosted.
Mood. This is like,
I'm not saying hosting is easy, but it does not make you as tired as playing. Surely. Come on.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Was she trolling them? Is that what was happening?
Oh, probably.
I don't know.
Probably. Though I can barely hear a thing of this fucking tribal council.
Kate said something about, like, I think Liz asked her, are you tired as well? You're doing well in the challenges. She's like, look, I've got energy for the challenges, and then I go and I'm crashing.
Again, I understand that completely. Like, it's just adrenaline kicks in.
Brady has his phone at tribal. It's funny. If I was Brady, I'd be like taking photos of people while they're trying to
selfieing on the jury.
Talk. Yeah. Like they're trying to like put a pitch together or figure out something to say, and then there's just Brady in the background, like just trolling them and taking photos and stuff. That would be funny.
We've talked about this before, but Liz confirms the final 3. So I don't know if it's a slip of the tongue here because she doesn't say, like, just FYI, it is a fact that kind of it's fluid in conversation, but ultimately confirms that it is a final 3.
I wonder, what do you think? Do you reckon that was a slip up? Because I don't see any reason to mention a final 3.
Yeah, I don't think like it's a bad thing that it was said. I don't think that it was planned.
Yeah, I think it's important that players know what the end game is going to be.
Really?
I don't think you don't necessarily have to know from the merge.
I think at this point, but at final 6, I think you should know.
Because it does affect.
It changes your end game.
You play one way for a final 2 versus a final 3.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing a final 2, you have to think about, I either need to win that final challenge or have someone who will take me. Versus a final 3, I just need to have one bigger threat in front of me. It is a very different end game. So I think it's important they know.
I mean, normally if you're a player, you just count how many people on the jury, right? Because if there's going to be 8 people on the jury at final 2, then it's just not going to be a final 2.
You can't have an even number of jurors at a final 2. It doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. People who don't figure that out at merge, you're stupid.
Look, I agree. It's not hard. It's not hard. As soon as the host says, like, this person's voted out, they will be the first person on the jury. Immediately, you give yourself, 30 seconds, and you figure out whether it's a final 2 or a final 3. Like, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, or if you merge an odd number.
As soon as Max is on the jury,
an odd number.
Yeah.
Like if you merge an odd number, you're in.
Or even if you merge at 10, and then the first person isn't on the jury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like if Max wasn't on the jury, you'd be like, hang on.
Yeah.
It's going to be a final 2.
Yeah.
Figure it out, people.
You've got 10 fingers. You can sort it out. It's not that difficult math.
Anyway, that's a rant for another day.
Good point.
Now, were the jury snuggling here? It seemed like they were.
Yes, they were.
It looked very cold. It was windy and cold. I think Max started it.
He was like warming the others up, and they were all sort of like snuggling. It was very cute.
I think Max just wanted to give CK a big hug. Their bromance is,
There's
evolved.
some man love there.
There is. I think Max really liked when CK dressed up all cute for him to travel before. And then now they're snuggling. But yeah, it did look very cold. So I'm surprised they don't have blankets, honestly. Like coffee, blankets, phone. Like at this point, just get your popcorn out. Like,
yeah, like I completely agree that in real life Survivor.
Adam, there's no time for non-eliminations.
There's no time for non-elims in LRG. Like you just someone now.
You know this.
There's different beasts.
You were crewing this season. You know this. We've seen footage of Adam crewing this season.
Yeah, exactly. Adam's been in shots of this season. Agreed. Shani and Tessa were robbed jurors. Ridiculous.
Oh, but let's not get into politics.
Yeah, let's not get. We're talking about LRGs. We're not talking about real life Survivor. Yeah. We're talking about the people who would love to play the real thing, but this is what we can get. Now, where am I to?
So
we have this conversation about goats, and Liz asks Chloe if she thinks that anybody here is a goat, and there's a pause, and then she kind of says no and goes into a big speech, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that she thinks that no one is a goat.
She thinks she's a goat.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a front. She might be playing up. I'm a goat. Take me to the end.
Right.
Or she might genuinely think she is a goat. I don't love the term goat. I will use it when talking about Australian Survivor because it's people I don't know. Yeah. I know a lot of these people, so I'm not really willing to use that term here. But I
don't care. John's a goat. Chloe's a goat. Gail's a goat. No, just joking. Sorry, my
Dani,
CK came out.
Can you cancel Ethan? Just like get him out. We'll
it was a joke, guys. It was a joke.
Sure it was.
He's muted.
Talk about Liz. Talk about the travel. Go ahead. So Chloe sort of just not really answering the question or not actually saying if anyone is a goat. And at this point, you get to the final 6. there's no clear goats. I'd say like Dale hasn't been dragged along by someone. Someone hasn't gone, here, Dale,
No.
I'm bringing you to the end. Or here, Chloe, I'm taking you to the end. I think everyone at this point is playing their own game. And I wouldn't actually genuinely consider anyone to be a goat. I think a goat is someone who can't generally make decisions for themselves. Maybe they don't know how to play the game. Maybe they're very new and they've got no idea what they're doing. And someone just sort of takes them under their wing and basically tells them what to do. I don't see that with anyone here. So, yeah.
No, I'd agree. I think, yeah, like I said, I think any one of these 5 is a deserved winner.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's any goats. I think the reason we can't see Dale winning is we're not seeing anything from him. It's
right.
Where I don't want to say we're reading the edit, but we're not seeing anything from him. We don't know what his thought process has been. We haven't seen him have input. So that's why I don't see him winning. If he was edited differently, I would probably see him as a threat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah. And it's so hard as well because you have Pharrell and Caitlin and Kate. You like, and then you had who? You had CK and you had all Annabelle. You had so many people who give so much substance and energy, and they are big personalities. Yeah. And then you've got Dale, who's just, I'd say, maybe a little bit more introverted. You know, he's not as, I think, maybe even extra. Some of these people are extra.
It is a very extra cast.
Yeah.
Very much so, yeah.
Dale's not. So it's very hard to give him an edit when there's all those people like, oh my God, okay, this person's confessional is amazing. Like, that's going in.
I mean, we're also being very nice to Dale here. We have seen confessionals and got not a lot out of it either. Like, you know, like the few confessionals we've seen, it's kind of been like, this is what's happening, as opposed to this is what I think, this is what I'm going to do. So it's also hard to edit people if there's nothing to edit.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I don't know what there is. I don't know. Like, I wasn't there. I'm not Dale, but I'm just saying, like, you know, we could lean in and on, you know, on the nice side of things, but there could also not be that there, which is why he's not getting any edit or credit.
Yeah, agreed.
So going into the vote, I think a few more questions are asked. I can't really remember if anything else really got said.
Well, I mean, why don't we ask the Queen herself in case we missed anything?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh my God!
Oh, she's gone. She's here. She's gone.
Oh my God, slay!
Hi. Hi, darling.
Hi. Oh my gosh, my mindset hasn't changed from like class to like talking about survival. Oh, do I start taking my clothes off? No, I'm joking. Oh my God, fun time. Hello, how are we? Y'all are
good,
so good.
Talk to you.
I'm good, but stop. I'm so excited to talk to y'all. It's been so like amazing watching you all. Like, I'm also very tired, so that's why I'm trying to like talk slowly.
Also, wait, don't worry, we're all pretty tired too.
Yeah, is it like fucking raining in like where yellow? Like cold as hell? Because it's like 7 degrees.
Yeah, it's freezing now.
Like I woke up, I was like, what the hell is going on? But yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
No, no one's asked a question.
No, we haven't asked a question.
No, we've so enjoyed watching you. You have been so entertaining, and we're just excited to finally talk to you.
Yay! Oh my God, I'm excited to talk to y'all. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, thank you so much for everything you guys have done this season. Like, it's been so fun for the cast to like watch.
It's been fun to do. It's been fun to do, and we'll break down your game, but we're kind of at the vote.
Oh, slay.
Okay, so we get you cop 3 from Dale, Kate, and Chloe. Caitlin gets 2 from yourself and John, and then Caitlin votes all on her own for Chloe. That's the breakdown of votes. So a chaotic vote for a chaotic evictee, basically.
Yeah, I kind of love it. I've always wanted to do like a 3-2-1. You know, I think all my whole game has been like, it was basically like a little ode to my 10-year-old self who like loves Survivor. So my whole game has just been like doing little tributes to what I loved watching up when I grew up. So that 3-2-1 was kind of, it wasn't supposed to be on me. Sorry. It wasn't supposed to be on me. But it was, basically, Cyree, that was kind of the first person I ever really saw and loved. And I wanted to pay tribute to her, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Dale's clipping a move. I like it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dale, the reason you went out. Who's the goat now?
He is. Literally, he is.
We said whoever is the one who can take credit for your scalp has got a huge point on their resume. And so go Dale.
There we go. So I was meant to go Caitlin to force the rocks, but I wanted the rock gone. I saw her as the biggest threat, so I flipped.
Yeah, I trusted that bitch. I trusted, like, up to that point. I didn't really, the only reason why I saw Dale because he was so tall, Nah, joking, I love you. Like honestly, up to that point, like Dale has a really incredible social game. Like the tiny talks that we had from like merge onwards was like amazing. So like, I'm not saying not amazing, but they were like, I felt I got what I wanted from him and he gave me what I wanted. So it was like, okay, I don't need to talk to you anymore. Like I can just go away. But then that bitch had his own thing that he wanted to do. And I think that's really hard, especially in this cast where half of the people are keeping cards close to their chest and half of them aren't. Like a lot of them are just like, please try to do something with me. But with Dale, he was just like, I didn't know where his head was at, but I thought I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was slaying.
Yeah, a slate. Yeah, it's the slate for Dale here. Well done. We were just talking about we weren't sure about his resume and what that looks like. Because like he's been kind of in the middle and we haven't really seen him take charge of anything. So for being the catalyst for you is impressive.
Yeah.
The biggest player in the game, I would say.
100%. No, I agree. And like Laurel, for you to come 6th, we were genuinely like happily surprised because
happily surprised.
When you hit merge, it was very clear that you were the biggest threat. Yeah. We were like, okay, the next 2 votes, you're going to be one of them. And then you work your way further through the game. People start looking at Brady and Tash gets fucking voted out. And you're still there, just still personally with the biggest threat. A
queen's got to work. A queen's got to work from the bottom at merge.
Yeah, 100%. What I love in Survivor in my way is that like I never really want to be on top. I love being chased.
We know you're a bottom. We've heard this about you.
Use your life skills. You know what I'm saying? It's just I feel like for myself, if I'm in like in a middle position or a top position, like it's not there's no route for me to go. There's when you're on the bottom, you have reason to make a move. You have reason to claw your way through stuff. And I think a lot of people see that as like a downplay, like you're not in a good position. You can't play Survivor. But in reality, I feel like for myself, that's where I play the best. And that's where I actually know how to play Survivor because that's what I'm saying. Like people in the middle and people on the top can make moves too. Like there's always 2 different sides or 3 different sides. A triangle has 3 sides. There's shapes, be a shape. Do stuff. There's always so many different types of storylines. Like there's 15 other people in this game. That's 15 different storylines you can do. Like, that combination in primary school, we go, try to make a word out of this 5-letter or 4-letter combinations.
Yeah, I love those games.
And that's the basic thing with Survivor. There's 15 people. So whatever 15 squared is, that's how many possibilities there are in this game. There's not just majority and minority. There's this and this and this. And people have, and here's the thing too. I actually, a lot of people have been talking about like the sleeping patterns where everyone sat. And that's really interesting to me because if you kind of look at it, like CK, Max, and Matt sat there, but why are we looking at that way? Flip it around. Like in reality, they were actually on the bottom when, you know, when we do the what if. So like if Yellow went out, you know, if Yellow went to tribal first, he would have went home. We all basically kind of said Seeker or Annabelle. And
right, okay.
You know, to me, it's just like, why was everyone saying? I think we're just like a perception where people think, oh, they all think this person's on top, so we all think that person's on top. In reality, they're not really. Yeah. So flip it around, and
perception is reality in the game, and it's hard to get past.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's really hard to take yourself out of like what's going on, but like you do it in real life anyway. Like you're not focusing on everybody else. You're, you know, like there's 16 different people in this game, and they all have different life stories. Like nobody is living the same life, but we're all at this point. We all made it. This is what the fuck am I talking about? But you know what I'm saying? Like we all doing Melbourne Survivor season 3, playing with fire. But how did we get there? You know, we all grew up. We all have different ages, different shit in our lives, and play with the life experience that you have. And I don't know. That's kind of how I saw it. And that's how I always wanted to see it.
And what a cast to be part of. I mean, you're a character in yourself, but to be surrounded by so many other characters who could match you too. Like you were talking about at the beginning, you were like, there's no one who can match my energy. I don't like any of these bitches. There were some fucking people there who could match you. Like after a while, like you said at the beginning, you're like, there's no one. And for 2 I was like, oh,
okay,
there's anyone. You were a part of a cast where you weren't the only character in a situation where you could have been the standout. You weren't. Like you are, but you're not the only.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that because like in everyday life, everybody is a fucking main character in their own way. And that's where that's what I was kind of surprised. Because I was in the community about like a year beforehand. Like I joined in like 2020 in a trial. And I just thought, you know, people who are, what should we call it? Fucking hell. Survivor fans. Like, you know, that we just call each other nerds, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of expected that. I was like, slay. I was like, yeah, whatever. But then like, no. I keep thinking about like Annabelle was saying, everyone was bullied in high school. Like I was bullied by my family, so not high school. So. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, that's what I was kind of expecting because I was part of the community for ages. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll just probably see people who play online games, like, and they play the same way all the time. So I can probably predict what's going to happen. But then seeing people who, like, someone like Rosie, someone like Chloe, I knew who Annabelle was too, so I was like, oh my god, like fuck, they're being serious. They got budget this season. It was like kind of spectacular, and I kind of love it. Like, I do believe, like, I don't know, maybe I'm being biased, but this cast put us on a fucking reality show, and like
this cast is incredible. This is a great cast,
and I think that's really great. Like, you really need people that can bounce off, and I feel like the season was so like this LRG was just so lucky. It just happened on the right time, perfect thing. And that's what kind of pumped up my game too. Like, we had this opportunity, just fucking do it. Like, don't live in regrets. Like I can just go, like, this is 2 days. I'm going to go home, sleep it off. But then it's like, just put on a show and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did, absolutely. So did you have a game plan going into the game? I mean, we saw at the start of the first episode, Liz asks, like, she says, you know people, and you knew basically everyone there. Do you think that like played to your advantage in the long run, knowing basically Dani? I can't keep it together. Dani's just laughing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. You were being so professional. I'm so sorry.
I know. Ethan, you're doing so well. Ethan, you're doing so great. Oh my god.
Go back. You're asking about Laurel knew everybody. Continue.
Thanks, John. John's got it covered.
Yeah. So at the start of the game, you knew everyone. Go.
Yeah, I mean,
How did
people
you
knew
feel
me.
about being outed?
I was kind of expecting it because I knew. Like I said, like I was in a community for ages before then, and Liz was so adamant about I don't want anyone to know each other. So I really thought I wasn't getting casted because I was like, oh, they're gonna get other people beforehand because like, it's like, but also before this, right? So I was a fucking season 2 reject, Liz Riley, Miss Thing.
I think you're better on this cast than being on
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
So it
This
worked
is a
out.
better season.
You would have been wasted in season 2.
Oh my god, probably. I was like, I wasn't out of my shell then, so I would have been like.
I'm trying to imagine you in
would
your
have been
shell.
wasted on season 2. This is a season for you.
Weren't you just born out of your shell?
This is how I came out. But I was yeah. So like so when I saw people, because when I was walking up, I was like one of the late ones to rock up, and I saw like multiple people that I knew. Like I literally just met Dale maybe like 4 days before that.
Wow.
At a pancake parlor. And then yeah, I know, wild. I was in a car with Ash driving up there, but I didn't realize that he was in the cast. So like nerdy me, I actually had. So this is when I think he says it in episode 1 when he talks about drinking buddy, because we drank in the car before he went. Because I was like, we stopped to get alcohol to get it. But like, and like I feel like I only met him like twice. And like with Caitlin, we were in the same org together, but we never crossed paths. And then I played with Tash in a trial. But like the thing with Ash, when we were driving there, because I think that's the reason why they put us together, because we didn't know each other. I didn't know he was in the cast until like 10 minutes before we arrived. So I had this little booklet of like all my plans, all my goals, and what I wanted to achieve in Melbourne Survivor. And I'm there like reading it out. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do this. I don't give a shit about anybody, blah, blah, blah. And then Ash is sitting there like, you better not be on my... Yeah! I was like, ah! And then he was like, you better not be in my tribe. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was like, I'm playing. I was like, what the... Yeah, it took me out. I was like, that's a shot.
So is that why you had to get him out as soon as you swapped?
Oh, 100%. I was like...
Gotta go.
Yeah, but it was wild. I didn't expect to have like 4 people who like I knew of there. And I think like I really wanted to prove to myself that I could play a game of Survivor, like how I wanted to. And seeing 4 people I knew, I was like, fuck, like, do I have to play it differently? But then I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna change my way just because I know people. Like I'm still gonna do what I want to do. Absolutely. But also as well, I didn't want people to be voted off. I mean, like I don't think people knew that Tash and I like played together before. So it wasn't that big of a difference. But like I also didn't want someone else to be voted off because they knew me. And I didn't want that to be like involved in like why people voted off, you know. Like I'm like, oh, I want to vote you off because you know this person. Like so that I would have felt bad about. But like, yeah. All right, I can't talk. That's lame.
So how did you go on your trial and other orgs that you've played? Like, do you think this is the best you've ever played, or
this is actually the worst I've ever played?
Yeah, why do you think that?
Oh, I mean my placements, or like
yeah, placements, but also just general play style and stuff like that.
Your game.
Yeah, your game. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like placement wise, this is the worst I've ever done. I'm usually like 5th, 4th, and 3rd,
which is impressive.
Very impressive.
And then for like, but game wise, this is probably like last evolution. You know, I have reached Goku status or some shit. Like I have, and I think I mean like I've been playing orgs and shit since I was like 9 and 10. So
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. But like, I feel like the trials was like not like shaped me, but it just put me in perspective. Like people don't really know what you're doing, and then you know you don't have footage to like look back on and be like, I actually did that. So I think with this, I really just my game style at this time was more like I'm just gonna leave it out on the line. Like, I'm not scared to be voted off, and I think that's what used to scare me. Like, I'm not scared to be on the bottom. I'm not scared to do that because I know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And if, like, yeah, basically that. So I just wanted for my game to talk for itself instead of me have to explain what I'm doing and shit like that. And so I also feel like you're going in a game with Survivor fans who back 2 years ago, like the meta was kind of shield gameplay. So I was like, I'm gonna be that shield for them. So that's what I was
you
kind
were.
of.
I mean,
But
we
yeah,
say
that was
that like you were absolutely a shield for people. You're a shield for CK.
I know I were. How wild. But yeah, I think that's what I wanted to rely on. So, you know, like you could always follow the mob and be, you know, I think
say it.
Yeah, like you could always just like want to do what other people want to do and shit like that. But most of the time, people don't want to do what that's actually been done. And I think that's what I did. Like, I didn't want to write down people's names when I didn't want to, and I didn't have to because I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stir shit. So yeah. But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, you delivered. If that's what you came to do, you achieved. So slay, honey.
Doesn't left any sense. Yeah.
But I think all of your moves were the right call. I think, you know, if you didn't flip at the swap, you would have been on the bottom of the original yellow tribe.
Oh,
so
and
you flipped to position of power. So I think it was absolutely the right move for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it really helped that it was Annabelle on our side. Like, not on our side, but on our tribe. Because, like, if it was CK and, like, I took out CK, it's like people would be like, okay, cool. Like, now we can just get to know Annabelle, you know? So I think it really helped out. Yeah, and then also, like, I don't know. I don't really know if I consider that a flip because, like, I wasn't ever aligned with her properly. So it was like my target never changed.
Right.
Especially when we got to there. And as well, like...
No, but it ultimately ended in you flipping on Mara and Rosie, who you were with. So that's, in that sense...
But that's the thing too. Like, okay, here's the thing. So with keeping Rosie... not keeping Rosie. So voting out Rosie over Mar is because... So let me explain like the Annabelle, Rosie, Mar votes. So with the Annabelle thing, what really cemented and what really hyped me up and knew that I was doing the right thing was Mar saying, it's too early to do this. Because for me, that's a big pet peeve of mine. Because it's like, why are we waiting? Are we waiting for your call? Are we waiting for my call? Like, I don't want to do it later. And also, it really tells me what type of player she is. She is this person that's going to, if she gets to find a tribal count, she's going to be like, oh, I made the call at the right time. It was all about timing. I'm like, fuck it. If you all want to play with time, I'm going to play with it too. So let's do it now. Let's change the pace a bit. And, you know, keeping people on the toes, because I think a lot of Survivor players see there's going to be a swap, there's going to be a merge, and there's going to be final three. Like, that's what people say all the time. But it's like, you can change it up. You can change the pace of the game at any time. Like, that's just the pinpoints. Like, there's literally no rules in Survivor. The format is mini challenge, a vote. Like, that's it. And you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. Like, that's the prop. So, so that's what really cemented why I was like, oh yeah, I need to do this right now. And that was just so fun. Like, I was playing around with like, oh, am I gonna do it? I don't know if I'm gonna do it. Like, convince me more, please, or don't convince me anymore. Like, I'm not gonna do it. And then, like with the Marv, like with Rosie's vote, Rosie actually came up and said, like straight after we lost the challenge, was like, oh, I'm okay if you guys not okay. Like, am I next? Like, let me know now so I can eat my lentils in peace. Yeah. I was like, oh, good. Like, I don't know. So like anything can happen. But ultimately for me, the reason was I wanted Mar to be like this boss battle. Like, I want this to be like her origin villain story where she comes back and like try to slice everybody, because I want somebody to come after me. Like, I need, you know, you need to produce yourself in these things. I need a storyline at the end of like, but then at this point, I have Caitlin and John, who I felt were in a powerful position on the original tribe, now moved on to like a minority. But then they're just going to go back and be like, hey, y'all, we have somebody else with us, which is me. So it's like, I wanted sides to just to battle it out and fight each other. But that's what I was hoping for, like if we won the block challenge. But yeah, it was just so annoying, that challenge.
Technically, you did win. You just didn't see it because of the lights, right?
No? I don't know. Apparently.
That's the feedback we've been given.
That's what we've been told.
Who said that?
Everybody.
Big John.
I don't remember this.
Honestly, then agree.
They had it a couple of times, but couldn't see it because the lights were too bright to show the colors.
Yeah, because we had to hold the lights. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And we're also like blindfolded in that challenge.
We'll go back to Rosie. That vote was very emotional between the two of you.
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that dynamic.
Because I was expecting not to be close to anybody and just to be like, oh, everyone's here to play a game, blah 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 blah. I didn't expect to love Rosie as much as I did. Like, it was crazy. Like, she was really the only. Like, you've talked to her online. Like, you can just see what energy she gives, and then imagine that in fucking person. It's just tenfold. It's amazing. She has this comfort energy. Like, when you're around her, you just feel like, oh yeah, I can just tell you anything. Like, and it's just so soothing. Like, there's nothing that you don't want to tell her, you know. So yeah, like, oh god, I love her so much. But like, it was just so slay. Like, it really takes you back, where I came into this game being like, fuck, I can't wait to like not punch people, but like, I can't wait to fucking do shit. And then she's there like, and like, she like spoon feeds me lentils, you know, I don't know. But she is, yeah, but also as well, like, I really thought everybody there was a fan, because I was like, why would you sign up for a game and go camping for 2 days if you're not a fan of the show? So I thought everybody was playing like, oh, I don't know much about Survivor. So there was part of me that was like, oh shit, like, she probably knows much more than she does, and for other people as well. But
yeah.
So during that Rosie vote, obviously it was very emotional. Did you ever consider not voting her out before you did? Like, did you think maybe I should keep her in the game? Maybe because, I don't know, you felt bad that you were going to vote her out or anything like that? Like, what was your thought process? Did that ever cross your mind, actually keeping her?
No. And that's why I was crying so much, because it was like, there's no other option, but it was just like, I've made my mind up. Like, I've really set my game in stone to what I'm trying to make people perceive me. But that was really hard. Like, I did really want to like spend time with her more. It was really hard pre-merge voting people out. Like, I think at merge, I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, don't be a fucking jury. Like, fuck off. Like, walk it off, babes. But then pre-merge, like, oh my god, like, you know, like, I think Annabelle and I had a conversation about like jury outfits, and like, I think someone asked, who was it? I forgot who asked me, but just like after the game. But like, something was telling me like, oh, would you not have flips on Annabelle for jury outfits? Just see her jury outfits. I was like, yeah. I'm like, you know, if she made a point about it way more, then I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'll keep you for your jury outfits. But yeah. But yeah.
Please tell me we see you on the jury wearing some of her outfits.
Oh my god! You never know. You never know.
Oh, I'll be living.
You don't want that bit of outfits to go to waste. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. We saw CK wearing one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Kelly Clarkson.
And you had one of the most iconic moments of any LRG when you run for an idol, and then you have everyone chasing after you, and
oh my god,
Tasha's
highlight.
It was fucking Baywatch, wasn't
one
it?
Of the best. It was fantastic.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That was like my Survivor goals are like that. Like, that's how I always want to do. So like, I think it was just a perfect opportunity because okay, literally, I was just talking. This is like okay, this is me and Caitlin, and this is like CK, like that there, and I'm like, bro, what? What? Say it. It was like an S chase right there. I'm like, what? So it was just like, but it was so funny. Like that's the thing too. Like if CK wasn't there, like none of these things would have worked. Like he was literally the perfect person. Like that's what I'm saying. Like back to the cast. Like everyone just bounced off so well. Off each other, and that's what made it so much fun. Like the way that I did stuff wouldn't have happened without the cast. So it really is testament to the cast. But yeah, that running scene was so fucking funny.
You booked it. You were like, should I run? And you're like, yeah. And you fucking like took off hell for fucking leather. Like just like I was like, oh shit, I would have chased you. I've been like, this bitch, I'm gonna chase you.
100%. Everyone's chasing. I'm chasing.
Like, what am I missing?
Yeah.
That actually would have been perfect if Caitlin had a clue for something. And you're running off, everyone's chasing you, so she's looking somewhere else. Like,
that would have been hilarious.
But no.
Or if you guys took off in different directions.
Oh my god.
Like Taylor went the other way. And like,
head would have exploded. It would have been like, which way do I go?
Oh my god, he could have like called out to Max and like, you go that way, you chase them. That would be so funny, but all hands on deck. Yeah, it was really funny. I didn't realize how many people were running because even the crew was running too. I was like, what the fuck?
They've got to check.
See the shaky camera just.
Very like Blair Witch Project. It feels like a horror movie. Yeah, that was fun.
It's still funny. I think it will forever be funny. That has to go down the Hall of Fame of Melbourne. Like no LRGs in general. Hall of Fame.
100%.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so fun.
But I'm sure we all watched it multiple times. It was just one of those moments.
Even more funny.
And just like the music was awesome, and then cutting back to Kate and Tash just being like, "Oh, okay." It was everything.
Oh my god, it really was, guys. I was like, oh my god,
it was perfect.
So, Laurel, I want to talk about Final Six because you're getting so close to the end at this point. What is your end game?
God,
how do you make it to the final three? Like, what is your thoughts? What are your plans?
I mean, so like obviously I knew that there was going to be a point where there was no shields left and there was going to be like where everyone just agrees, okay, this bitch needs to go. But what I really wanted to try and rally is Rox. I thought Rox was like, I'm not saying I was the one that started the Rox thing, but like Rox was an idea that I was like,
but I'm saying it.
But
like
for
Tash
me,
wasn't your move, but it was your move.
But that's the thing. There's 15 like MCU storylines in here. Like anyone can be. But that's okay. If you ever go into LIG, my biggest tip is just say shit. You know, go on your confessional, say whatever you want to say. Because yeah, but like that's the thing. Like LIG is like infamously known for losing footage, and if there's no footage, but you're the only one saying it, they got to use it, you know, just do it. But I'm not saying that's what happened. That didn't. So wait, Final Six, yeah. So in my head, yeah, this is another Survivor I wanted to do, but I felt like, Rox was a thing that can make me safe, and it really pushes people because at that point, you know, I don't know. There's some people whose games aren't flashy, and I thought this is the perfect time for people to be flashy. So that's where I wanted to force Rox.
Yeah.
So just it just had me written down. What the fuck was I thinking? But like, yeah. So like that's what I wanted. Like that's what I wanted to happen. Like easily, like not easily, but you know, I could have voted with Caitlin and like voted for Chloe and stuff like that. Say like that, but like. For me, it's like people know that Caitlin would go to Rox, but people don't know Chloe would go for Rox. So that was like a big thing. What I like, if we got into that discussion, I'm like, babes, let's be flashy. Let's do something like show the jury you can do. I hate when people do that, but like, it's kind of like very Spencer. Oh my God. But you know what I'm saying? But I just thought like that was like a goal I always wanted to do and have Rox. But I just thought it really, I don't know. I hate always like trying to validate myself with the jury, but I don't know. I think final 6 is always so hard. I like final 5, final 4, like 3. Like it gets to a point where you're just like, there's not many people. Like,
There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, 100%.
There's nowhere to hide at that point in time.
There isn't. And oh god. So yeah, that's this. I don't know.
So do you think if you potentially work with Kate and Caitlin to get to the final 3, like I was talking with Jules and Dani before, and I said I see it as Laurel, Kate, and Caitlin being the 3 more flashy players, where Dale, John, and Chloe were not. So do you think potentially you could convince Caitlin and Kate to go to the final 3 with the 3 of you and just battle it out for best player wins? Do you think that's something that could have potentially happened?
I think hindsight, yeah. Like
hindsight.
It's all hindsight. It's all hindsight.
I know. Gosh, and I think this is my only one regret of like I think I just thought
Just one.
Yeah, just one.
That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Wow.
But I feel like I think just overthinking this, like trying to get to the final, because up to this point I never really thought about like how am I going to get to the final, and I think this is like where it kind of like messed me up, because I was overthinking. I was like, I have to think about like, oh,
your mindset changed, right? Like, because you've gone from being like, I don't give a fuck, to being like, oh, it's right there.
Maybe
right.
Yeah, maybe I can do this, and I can see that.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like I should have just let my ego get to me and be like, if I can win in any single combination, like does not matter. Right.
Oh, if you're in the end, you win.
Absolutely, all of the jury were loving you.
like you would have had a tough time against Kate and Caitlin, because you all had like great story to tell, but I think you win.
I agree. Yeah.
Oh, swear. But I know that I am not I know for myself I'm not a great talker though. So back then, this is pre ADHD, pre trans, pre everything. You know what I'm saying? Right, so like, but yeah, no, 100. Yeah, I forgot what you said, but no, yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, but I don't think you would have had to talk much, because your game had been so out loud.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's different for players where they've had a great game, but it hasn't necessarily been the forefront of everybody. Yeah. So they've got to be like this. I'm going to break this down for you and how I got to here. Whereas for you, if you're at the end, people know what you've done. Yeah. Because they've fucking seen it. They've been on the receiving end of it. So I don't think you have to convince the jury here. I think Kate and Caitlin have to convince the jury why they should beat you.
Yeah, and I mean, I was not thinking that way.
And the game's so quick. The game is so quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is. I was still crying about Rosie then. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Like, it's so, oh my god. It's so wild. Like, I love how the first day it was like nothing was happening. Like, I'm like, this is so boring. Like day one, like night one.
Yeah, you didn't think shit of people at day one. You were like, ugh.
Yeah. it was so boring. But then like, you know, day 2, day 3, it was like wild. But also as well, like the fucking they put us in a bike shed to sleep for merge. Like that was it. It was so dusty.
Did not look comfortable.
Oh my god, I have asthma too. Like it was so dusty. Like I literally thought I was gonna die of coldness. And like, yeah, fun. Okay, anyway.
So, LeBron, what do you think of the voodoo idol? I mean, I've tried asking almost everyone, because I do want to know their thoughts. What were your thoughts on that?
See, for me, I don't really care about like advantages and stuff. I could see how this can be like overpowered at the time. But then you just gotta roll with it, I think. You just gotta roll with what happened. Like you can't really say to producers, I don't like this, and walk off.
That's our job.
Yeah. But like I feel But that's the thing. You always want to be adaptable to these things. You can't always. It like Survivor is a lot about luck too, and you can never predict a beauty
Huge.
idol.
Like,
yeah.
So when the things happen, I think, when these things happen, I don't know. For me, I've always been thinking about like I'm going to be voted out next. So every time you play to your full potential. So with the video idol, when I saw that, I was like, because I already knew what the plan was going into it. I was like, fuck, I'm safe. So it's like, how else do you add a layer to this? Like, how else do you do something to it? And that's why I voted for Caitlin at the video idol. But yeah, just
I mean, how hilarious would you have found that if she played it the other way and voted, and then based off your one vote, she's gone.
No, oh my god, and no one can claim that. No one can claim that.
No, that would have been all you.
Yeah, no, I think that would have been so slay for me, not for her. But like I fucking love her so much. But it's like, at that point, it was actually so funny. Like I think I loved people's reactions to things. And like when the Caitlyn vote came up, like you can see everyone's head turn, like what the fuck? And I was like, and then it was kind of like a big, but that's the thing. Like in that round, Kate and I thought at that point, like Kate, Tash, and Caitlyn were like this tight thing, and Caitlyn was kind of like a glue or like this person that just goes around, and oh my god, my train of thought. It was like, Kate was like talking to CK but the whole round, and I was like, oh, how can I spice this up? Because if CK has been talking to Kate that whole round, how else? I was gonna blame my vote on CK. That's what I'm gonna do. But like, it was like, oh, that's the only person like that could give him the vote. Like that was kind of like my area of thoughts on like why I did that. I'm gonna set some shit up. Yeah, was that the question?
Yeah, that was just like how hilarious.
Slay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, it would be so funny. I would be laughing like it's.
Oh, that confession would have been golden. Hilarious.
I know. I actually would have been sad though, because I was like, oh my god, I fucking love it. But at the same time,
what did I do?
Vibes. Oh no! Very like soap opera. But yeah. But we'll be fun.
So, Laurel, if Liz asks you to play All Stars, are you coming back and playing again?
No.
No. Why?
I don't know. I feel like I've had fun.
You've done it?
Time. I've had,
okay.
Well, I don't know. Ask me in like 2 minutes. I'll probably change my answer. But I mean, right now I don't really have the desire to go back and play. Like I love producing. I love, creating LIGs and shit like that. Like I think I'm at that point where I'm changing. Even like I'm, performing as well. Like I love just creating and like doing shit like that, but not like performing. I mean like backstage stuff, and I kind of fell in love with that. So the idea of playing again is just kind of like bleh. Because like this has been 2 years, right? And it's so wild that like this happened like 2 days, but then it just on your mind this whole time, and I don't want it ever again.
All the time.
Even after this is done, like we all say, oh, once this is done, we're not gonna think about it. Bitch, you're gonna be like 10 years time, you're gonna fucking wake up in the middle of the night, but like I should have fucking voted that way. Like that's gonna happen. So I don't want that again unless I get like $500,000, So
would you play the real thing?
No, I'm joking. I mean, yeah, but like in like a recruit way of like I want to experience the island. Like I literally live my fantasy. Like I do. I literally just want to be on the beach and just like sunbake and like kill a bitch off and then sunbake, kill another bitch off, sunbake, drink some wine. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I'm always a hypocrite, so I might play if I get up.
For an all-star cast, I mean, I'd expect you to be surrounded by big players like yourself. So yeah, look, I personally, if it does happen, I would want to see you play again. The way I look at it is you got 6th, which is a great spot. You played probably the biggest game in the season. You've achieved all, like, essentially what most people can't. So if you were to play again, I'd hope that you would go in with the mindset that regardless of what happens, you did amazing in your first season, had the biggest target on your back, and then you go in fresh, start again, and just try and do it all over again, and have some great content. I mean, watching you and Caitlin play together again would be iconic. Yeah.
Oh my god, it'd be so slay. Honestly, it'd be so good. Like, she's such an angel.
Look, I couldn't put it much better myself, Ethan. I think that's a great way to wrap up the pod. I think thank you so much, Laurel, for joining us. We have loved watching you every week. Stick around, chat to us afterwards. We have lots to talk about. Nothing we could say on air. So we're gonna go, we're gonna chat, we're gonna have fun. Finale this Saturday, 2 p.m. I believe there is a watch party going on. Check the Melbourne Survivor Facebook page for all the details. We will be here next week to recap it. We will have players 4 and 5 joining us, and then we will be doing deep dives with 3, 2, and 1 in the weeks to follow. We are so excited. Thank you so much for a great season so far. And we can't wait to recap the finale. Bye, guys. Ethan's like, shut the fuck up.